This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell and Unette Gentry. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson. News 25 is also brought to you by Silver State Health, Pahrumps exclusive pediatric care clinic. Call 775-505-1214 for an appointment.
Welcome. So glad you can join us here on News 25 tonight. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Unette Gentry. It's Tuesday, March 30th.
Well, Nevada Governor Steve Sisolak has extended the eviction moratorium an additional 60 days during a press conference this afternoon. Sisolak adds that this will be the last extension and says that the state needs to transition out of this moratorium phase and protect both landlords and tenants. There's millions of dollars available to help renters from the federal government. He says that it's up to renters to apply for this money. The governor also signed an emergency directive last night allowing full and close contact sports to resume with safety and preparedness plans. That new directive is effective now, and the details are available on the Southern Nevada Health District's website.
A midday accident has unfortunately sent one person via ambulance to Desert View Hospital.
Nevada Highway Patrol is conducting the accident investigation for a two-vehicle crash that occurred this afternoon on Highway 372 and Red Butte Street. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue and Nye County Auxiliary units arrived on scene with deputies from the Nye County Sheriff's Office. Each vehicle only had one occupant, the driver of the cars. The driver inside the blue compact vehicle was transported via ground ambulance to Desert View Hospital, complaining of arm and chest pain. The driver inside the black SUV did not complain of any injuries at the time of the crash. Traffic was diverted around the accident scene while the investigation was being conducted by NHP. Luckily, there were no injuries reported at a structure fire this afternoon here in Pahrump. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue, Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies, and auxiliary units responded to a reported structure fire this afternoon on West Donner Street. The blaze was contained to the storage unit. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue is investigating the cause of this fire, which appears to be accidental in nature. All buildings in close proximity were protected. No injuries were reported.
Also in local news, a Pahrump man is under arrest and facing charges in connection with a reported scheme to commit insurance fraud.
46-year-old Ala Lindsay of Pahrump is under arrest and facing two charges: insurance fraud and possession of a stolen vehicle. The investigation that led to his arrest started with a phone call from an investigator with Progressive Insurance Company. The investigator told deputies they'd been in touch with an anonymous source who provided information regarding a stolen vehicle for which Progressive had paid a claim to Lindsay. Deputies followed up by contacting that anonymous source, who told them Lindsay had reported a BMW motorcycle stolen, but that Lindsay was, in fact, in possession of the motorcycle. The sheriff's office says the source explained that Lindsay had reported the motorcycle stolen for the purpose of insurance fraud. Deputies confirmed that Lindsay reported the motorcycle stolen in September 2019 through the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Last Monday, deputies executed a search warrant at Lindsay's residence. He was not home at the time. Officers found two motorcycles in the garage. The sheriff's office says one of them was confirmed to be the BMW that had been reported stolen and for which Lindsay had been paid by the insurance company. 2 days later, deputies found Lindsay at a home in Pahrump and placed him under arrest.
All right, more and more people are starting to fly the friendly skies. What Southwest is doing to help accommodate us passengers, next.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back to News 25. Well, Amazon workers in Alabama are voting on union representation, and Southwest Airlines is buying 100 Boeing jets.
Here's Angela Miles with today's Business First Brief.
Topping our news, Amazon union votes are now in the hands of the National Labor Relations Board. Employees at the Bessemer, Alabama warehouse have been casting ballots for and against organizing a union for the past several weeks. 6,000 workers received ballots. The Labor Board tells reporters it could take up to a week to get the final tally. Depending on the outcome, Amazon or the union is likely to challenge the final vote, which could prolong the process. Renters will be able to stay put through June 30th. The CDC is leaving the national ban on evictions in place to avoid overcrowding of relatives' homes or homeless shelters. Southwest is ramping up its business. The airline has agreed to purchase 100 737 MAX jets from Boeing. That is the largest order for the once troubled jet since the MAX was grounded in 2019.
Thanks so much, Angela. Well, Nevada Highway Patrol now says it suspects impairment in a weekend crash that killed 3 people on U.S. Highway 95 here in Nye County.
The crash happened Saturday afternoon on US 95, about 5 miles north of Scotty's Junction. Nevada Highway Patrol investigators say for unknown reasons, a Ford F-150 crossed the center line where it struck an SUV. The SUV then traveled off the roadway and overturned. 2 adults and 3 juveniles, all from Victor, Idaho, were inside the SUV. The male driver died at the scene. The adult female passenger and a juvenile passenger were ejected from the vehicle. They also died at the scene. Another juvenile passenger was also ejected but did survive in critical condition. NHP's preliminary investigation indicates impairment to be a factor in the crash. The male driver of the pickup from Tolleson, Arizona, survived and was last reported in serious condition. The investigation into the crash continues.
And a Pahrump man with almost 200 dogs was back in court for a status check on moving those animals and acquiring property zoned for a kennel that large.
Vasily Platonov, the owner of Est Alpha Kennels, was in Judge Lane's courtroom this morning. Platonov has been embattled in lawsuits and court appearances since 2009 over the number of dogs on his property. Neighbors in his area complain of constant noise and the odor that comes from all of the animals. The kennel breeds and sells Caucasian Ovcharka dogs. The breed is a very large one, weighing in between 99 and 179 pounds. They are typically used for guarding animal herds or as security dogs. Platonov has tried without success to have his property rezoned so that he could have a large number of dogs, but Nye County Planning has limited the zone property to 30 dogs. At his last court appearance on March 9th, Judge Lane told Platonov that he had 3 days to pay fines that had been imposed on him for each day he had not moved the animals. Those fines began at $25 per day in December of 2020 and were increased to $100 per day on January 1st. Platonov was told at that time that if he did not pay the fines, he would be sanctioned to 10 days in jail. Judge Lane set a status check court date and said that if by then he did not see evidence of dogs being moved or property being acquired to move the dogs, Platonov would go to jail for 10 days. Today was the day of reckoning. Platonov and his attorney Tom Gibson presented Judge Lane with a receipt for $7,620 for fines paid and also proof that Platonov has made an offer to buy property in Amargosa that has been accepted. Judge Lane was pleased with the progress made and set another status check for 2 months, stating that by then the property purchase should be closed and the animals should be moving. If this is what the court sees, they will not impose additional fines on Platonov. The status hearing is set for May 24th.
Well, development of the Rhyolite Lithium Boron project continues. The Board of County Commissioners learned more at their last meeting.
Matt Weaver, Senior Vice President, Engineering and Operations of Ioneer, made a presentation to the Board of County Commissioners at the March 16th meeting. Ioneer is an emerging lithium boron supplier focused on developing the Rhyolite Ridge Lithium Boron Project here in Nevada, which is known for being the largest known lithium boron deposit in North America. Rhyolite Ridge is a large, scalable, near-surface 475 megaton resource that contains 4.1 megatons of lithium carbonate and 10.9 megatons of boric acid. Rhyolite Ridge has excellent potential to rapidly become a strategic, long-life, low-cost source of lithium and boron. In his presentation to the board, Weaver detailed the domestic support for lithium production nationwide. He gave an update on engineering, permitting, and the project timeline. He also addressed concerns regarding Team's buckwheat, an extremely rare and vulnerable plant that's natural home lies in the area mapped for the quarry. Scientists worry about the plant becoming extinct. The University of Nevada, Reno researchers have determined that an herbivory event is occurring and animals are digging up the plants and eating them. Ioneer has begun to work with the Conservation Fund on strategies to preserve the plant. The Board of County Commissioners voted in favor of signing a letter of support for the Rhyolite Ridge Lithium Boron project and thanked Mr. Weaver for keeping them informed. If you would like to view the entire presentation, it can be found online at nyecounty.net/agenda center.
Well, it was affected by COVID shutdowns like nearly everything else, but the town of Pahrump is gearing up to open the community pool this year. Now they just need the staff to make it happen. Pool manager Antoinette Aduccio says they're looking to hire more than a dozen lifeguards. And while the job is serious business, it can also be a lot of fun.
This season, I want to be like a really good season for everyone. Last year we didn't get to have a season because of COVID. Not a lot of people came out or were able to pass the test since it happened so late in the summer. So this season I want to be really good, and I just want to be a great place for everyone to come in the community and just have a good time for the summer. Right now we still have the lifeguard and cashier positions available. We just interview and do a test for the cashiers, and we do only hire 2 to 3 cashiers, but we're probably going to hire up to 17 lifeguards, so there will be a lot of open room for them.
I loved it, honestly. It was a great summer job, seasonal. You know, when school started, you didn't have to worry about working, but it's a great way to, you meet new people, you meet new friends, and I got a lot of leadership skills from it. You get some certifications too, which is always great for now and in the future, and I loved it overall.
We pay for all the certifications, so all of it happens right here. You just show up to the pool and you get your certifications, CPR, first aid, lifeguard certification, all of it, and then you're able to have a job right here.
As lifeguard, you go on stand and you can swim laps if you want to. You can swim in the pool while you're off stand, off duty. And you get breaks, so you can go out to lunch, and you just observe and watch kids and make sure everything is going smoothly. And we also do a lot of chores, though. There's a lot of cleaning involved. Yeah. Keeping it sanitary for everyone, because it's very popular. A lot of people go to the pool.
I have been a lifeguard for the past 2 years, and it was a really fun job. I made some of my closest friends here. I still talk to the lifeguards from my first year and the previous, the next year after that. It's just a great time, and we have a lot of fun here. It's definitely a very serious job, but we make sure to have a lot of fun too.
I 100% would recommend it. With all the friendships I got from it and for the job experience, I would 100% recommend it.
And if you're interested, you can learn more about the job opportunities at the Pahrump Pool by going to the county's website, nyecounty.net. You can also call them for more information at 775-482-7244. And we're highlighting a high school award-winning robotics team when News 25 returns.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by Canyon Ridge Periodontics. Give them a call at 702-966-0302.
Welcome back. Well, high school student robotics team Awkward Silence from Pahrump is the best in Nevada. Unfortunately, they won't get to compete in this year's World Robotics Championship, which was canceled due to the pandemic. Even so, team members are proud of their accomplishments.
Our team name is Awkward Silence. Recently, we went to our state competition. And one of the awards we won was, the big award we won was the first place trophy for robot performance, which means for the robot game, we scored the most points out of all of the teams in Nevada.
In addition to taking first place in robot performance at the state competition, Awkward Silence also took top honors and won the Inspire Award at the Southern Nevada League tournament.
So the Inspire Award is basically it's the whole shebang. It's basically the culmination of your outreach, your robot, your documentation, how your team presents themselves to the judges. It's basically the catch-all big award. And in terms of advancement, Inspire is actually the first place team to move on. Second would be first place robot game.
To say Awkward Silence is doing well might be an understatement, considering the team is relatively new.
Our team has been a thing for 4 years. Some of our members have been on the same first teams for up to 6 years when we did FLL, the tier before FTC, which is what we do now.
And these aren't your off-the-shelf robots. The team customizes each one to best optimize it for competition. This year's robot is known as Awkward Bee.
The only thing that comes as like you can buy as a kit for the assembly would be the Go Build a Strafer chassis. The controllers are actually set up in the game manual for FTC. And before the only controllers that were legal were Logitech controllers. This year they opened it up to PlayStation controllers and other types. The robot game actually changes every year, where there's a new set of challenges that's described at kickoff, and then you have to actually figure out the design you want to go to and what you want to do to actually get the most points or whatever you're most comfortable with.
Team member Megan Riandow says when she first got involved, she didn't know quite what to expect.
I didn't think I'd be as interested as I am. I thought it would be like you start and you get used to it, but it's not really something you look forward to. But through the years, I've been on this team since last year, as soon as I could. So I've been on this team for 2 years, and I actually really enjoy being here.
Well, Awkward Silence is part of the Southern Nye County 4-H. Right now, the team has 8 members. For more information, including on how to become a member, make a donation, or become a sponsor of the team, reach out to the 4-H or visit them on Facebook at Awkward Silence.
And congratulations to those students. I love that name, Awkward Silence. Well, it's hard to believe that more than a year ago, the U.S. was dealing with our first ever case of COVID-19. But in that time, a lot has changed, including how doctors treat patients hospitalized with the virus.
Today, unfortunately, we don't have a medical cure. Nothing like penicillin for streptococcal bacterial infections, but we do have a lot of treatments which have some modest benefit.
Dr. Adarsh Bimraj is an infectious disease specialist at Cleveland Clinic. He helped create the latest treatment guidelines for the Infectious Disease Society of America. He says at the start of the pandemic, researchers were experimenting with all kinds of medications. However, many of those drugs have since been put back on the shelf, like hydroxychloroquine, which got a lot of buzz in the news, but turned out to be ineffective. So what are they using these days for treatment? He says steroids have proven to be beneficial for those who are sick enough. There are also antiviral drugs like remdesivir that can help shorten the duration of symptoms. And while doctors continue to look for the best treatments for COVID-19, prevention is still just as important.
We should still be cautious and we should still be prepared. I think it's not yet time to take our mask down, and again, you have mass gatherings, things like that. So social distancing is important. Wearing our masks is important. Making sure that we all are vaccinated, I think, is important.
Dr. Bimraj says COVID-19 is a complex virus with a wide range of symptoms, so it's been challenging for researchers to find a one-size-fits-all treatment.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
All right, take a look at that beautiful pre-Easter view. Not a cloud in the sky, gorgeous weather. What else we can expect in the forecast right after this break.
News 25 Weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios. And sometimes it's not the weather you ordered, but it's the weather you got, and maybe you deserve it. I loved it today. It was a beautiful day. 57 degrees up Fernley, Fallon, Carson City, about the same. Tonopah, 54. Goldfield, 56. Not too bad as we had South Beatty, 68 degrees. 68 feels great in Amargosa at 72. Likewise in Las Vegas and Death Valley, all the way up to 84 wonderful degrees. 54 tonight. Here in the Paradise Pahrump, it's 69 degrees. Current temperature, 72 was our afternoon high, and it felt good. Winds buffeting just a little bit, 17 miles per hour. They were predicting it into the 20s, and I said, no, keep that weather control under control. And we fired up the weather control machine in my basement, and I'll take all the credit for the nice weather today. 6:32 a.m. the sun rose, setting this evening about 7:04 p.m. So get your cocktail shakers ready and get ready for that low temperature tonight at 42 degrees. Northeasterly winds to 15 miles per hour and the humidity at 14%. Going to make us never mind as we head into tomorrow. In fact, clear skies is going to be beautiful, 74 degrees high. And then look at these temperatures as we cruise on into the week and into the weekend. Going to be a gorgeous weekend. Clear skies, temperatures all the way up to 86 degrees on Saturday. We get a little bit of cloud cover coming out of Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but the temperatures staying with us, 84, 78, 73. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful week. And that's why it's the paradise of Pahrump, don't you know? All right, back to the desk on Tuesday night. Here's Unette and Deanna.
All right. Thanks so much, John.
Yes, thanks,
John. The wind is just never going away. What's up with that?
True, but it's keeping it a bit cooler. We're getting up to 80, then coming a bit back down into the 70s. We can take that.
Oh, gosh. Well, I was hoping no wind for this weekend, but it looks like we're going to have some. You know, we are having that Easter event, which is the Easter picnic. It's a drive-through at Night Communities Coalition there on Saturday. And so, yeah, we'll be okay.
It'll be fun.
Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Unette Gentry. And from all of us here at KPVM and Ace Country Radio, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next newscast.
Good night.